Hello there and welcome. This is Mikhail or Michael speaking, and as always before this video starts, I want to express my gratitude towards those who decided to support me financially, be it through Patreon, PayPal or Super Thanks. I appreciate your generosity, so thank you friends and have a blessed day. Today's video I will start with the Kharkov front, to be more specific, Kupiansk direction. In the last 24 hours, Russians were advancing here on this front, and as a result of that, were able to capture this much territory from the Ukrainian side. Here you can see that on the picture. Most significant of their gains was the capture of this crossroad and stronghold that guarded it. This will allow Russians to advance on the road in the direction of settlement of Sinikivka and settlement of Petropavlivka. Situation within the Sinikivka settlement remains to be difficult for the Ukrainian side. Within it, they are subjugated to constant Russian attacks from three directions, from Liman Pershey, across this open field, and now along the road. Russians continue to encircle the settlement slowly and gradually, but as you can see, after capturing this portion right here, they will end up advancing on the open field, which can become dangerous, and perhaps Russians will not advance on it. In conclusion, Ukrainian forces are still within Sinikivka village, however, the situation there is getting more and more desperate. Constant Russian attacks that are happening day and night and absolute superiority of Russian artillery makes life of Ukrainians within this settlement a living hell. Then from here let's move to the settlement of Bakhmut, or to be more specific, its northern flank, where Russians were able to advance slightly in between settlements of Razdalivka and Solidar. As a result of offensive operations, they were able to advance and capture a small portion of these fields. As you can see, it is not a significant territory, however, Russians were making these small gains throughout last month. For example, about 2 weeks ago, they captured this portion of the field. So as you can see here, Russians are not really advancing in the direction of Ukrainian-controlled Razdalivka, but expanding their zone of control around Krasnopolivka and Mykolaievka. If this continues, settlement of Vesely and Ukrainian forces within this salient can find themselves in danger of partial encirclement. Then from here let's move to the Zaporozhian front line and discuss the situation around Vremivka tactical bridgehead. Here Ukrainians continued their assault all across this front. Settlement of Priyutne was yet again target of Ukrainian attacks from settlement of Levadne, Novodarivka and Rivnopol. The result of these attacks is currently unknown, as well as settlement of Novodonetsk, where Ukrainian assaulted Russians within this village from the settlement of Zlotoniva, and generally Ukrainians were assaulting Russian positions all across this bridgehead from Staromayorsk, Urozhaine, and to the east of Urozhaine. As a result of that, Ukrainians were able to advance and capture some of the Russian positions here. Like I was saying previously, Ukrainians cannot advance from Urozhaine until they are dealt with these bridgeheads, and it would seem this is what they are doing currently. Their attacks on the flanks have become very strong in the last few days, and this recent Ukrainian territorial gain is a sign of that. Ukrainian forces, however, try to advance from Urozhaine in the direction of Zavitne-Bazhanye, as well as from Staromayorsk. However, these Ukrainian attacks were highly unsuccessful due to the fact that Russian artillery and aviation have Urozhaine and Staromayorsk under complete fire control. Here you can see on the video Russians bombarding the settlement of Urozhaine, not allowing Ukrainians to concentrate troops within the settlement for further attacks on this front. This is one of the reasons why Ukrainian assaults on this front were ineffective and territorial gains were slow. Ukrainian forces doesn't have upper hand here on this front, and they're attacking at a disadvantage. Then from here let's move to the Orikhiv front and discuss the situation here. In the last 24 hours, Ukrainians continued assaulting Russian positions in Rabotino and in front of Verbove. This time they assaulted Russian positions from all possible sectors, straight ahead and to the flank, as well as tried to extend their recently acquired bridgehead and advance in the direction of Verbove. At the time of recording, Ukrainians were unable to advance in the direction of Verbove. However, situation in Rabotino requires special attention. It is important to note that Ukrainian control over Rabotino is very limited despite their attempts to advance deeper and take control over the settlement. Each time they are counterattacked and forced back. At this point in time, recent reports suggest that Ukrainians are entrenching themselves in the outskirts of the settlement, with most of it being in the gray zone. To attack here, Ukrainians used one of the fresh brigades, armed with mostly Western equipment, but this didn't help much, and they had already, as reported, lost about 3 Striker infantry fighting vehicles. Due to this, recent Ukrainian attacks were mostly consisted of infantry advancing within these forest lines. They are walking within it and enter outskirts of the village. This doesn't stop Russians from shelling these forest lines and destroying Ukrainian troops within it. Generally, the situation here is stable. There is no breakthroughs. Russians too did take some losses. For example, here on this video you can see Ukrainians shooting down one of the Russian Ka-52 Alligator attack helicopter. Out of 2 pilots in this helicopter, 1 have died and 1 was evacuated by the Russians. Here you can see unique footage of this evacuation process. So this is it for today's video. I hope it was to your liking. If it was, please consider supporting me with a like, comment, and if you haven't subscribed, a subscription. These actions help promote this video to a wider audience, thus help spread the message. If you feel extra generous, please consider supporting me on Patreon. This will greatly improve my financial situation. Thank you in advance. As always, humanity calls me to condemn all violence against human beings. Have a good day and always remember, Russia will be free and great.